What's this? More questions? No miracles here. Another beautiful drawing. Thank you, whoever made that. It's empty. Oh, it's a floaty thing. All right. Beautiful. You're a better drawer than I am. Thank you, everybody, for these 9 days. It's been so lovely to share it with you, and I really enjoyed. I hope you had some enjoyment as well. And secretly, you were the teachers all along, because this was my first time teaching a 9-day retreat. So I was experimenting a bit, figuring things out. And I also learned a lot. Not only about how to teach, but also about myself, how to relate to being a teacher, how to relate to other people in this setting. So thank you for that. And yeah, it was really lovely to spend that time together. So, I don't want to give a very serious talk now at the end of the retreat. Or should I? You know, there's been all kindness and compassion, but now the real Buddhism comes out. So, who wants to volunteer? Get the Zen stick out, yeah? No. We don't. Because this kindness and compassion is not just at the start of the path. It goes all the way. And these ideas that I started with you remember the list, no expectations, nothing to do? These ideas go all the way to the end. And I want to tell you a little story. And this is actually a story from the Muslim tradition, I believe, maybe the Sufi tradition, and was told to Ajahn Brahm once when he was waiting in an airport. And I don't know if the person recognized him, but they had a conversation, and this Muslim person told this story to Ajahn Brahm. And I don't know, I never found the original version. Actually, I haven't really looked for it that much. So Ajahn Brahm changed it a bit. And I'll also change it a little bit. So it becomes even more difficult to find the original version. But it's a very beautiful story. And it goes to some of the heart of the things we've been talking about. There was once, in India, at the time of the Buddha, there was a farmer and his wife. And this farmer and their wife, they worked very hard on their farm, on their rice farm. And because they lived in the time of the Buddha, there was also a nun living nearby, a bhikkhuni. And the farmer and his wife, every day, they had some food leftovers, not just rice, but also other things, and they offered it to this nun. And this nun was staying there for the whole 3 months of the rains retreat, when the monastics make a vow to stay in one place and not to travel. They did that from the time of the Buddha, we still do. So for 3 months, every day, the farmer and his wife have been offering food to this nun. And the nun, in return, gave some wise advice, some stuff and some nonsense, some jokes maybe. But the farmer and his wife were very happy with that nun. But the rains retreat was over, and the nun had somewhere else to go. So, said the nun to the farmer and his wife, "Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu, thank you so much for supporting me for these 3 months. And I want to do something back to you. And I am a nun, and I am very wise, and I know many things that you don't. And also I am a nun, so I can't lie. So what I will tell you is true. I know you're a bit poor as a farmer, but if you want to find riches, this is what you have to do. Tomorrow I will leave. But tomorrow morning, stand on the doormat in front of your farmhouse. Get out your bow and arrow. Aim the arrow at the rising sun at dawn, and then let the arrow fly. And wherever the arrow lands, there you will find great treasure. Wow, thought the farmer and his wife. This nun, we know she won't lie, so we will find great treasure tomorrow. They were very excited and they couldn't sleep all night. In the morning they woke up, and the farmer took out his bow and arrow and waiting for the sun. And when it just peeked over the horizon, the farmer aimed the bow to the sun, pulled back the arrow, and poof, shoot the arrow. And it flew through the air and landed somewhere on the ground. And then they took out their shovel and thought, yeah, we'll go there and we'll dig up our treasure. So they walked and they walked where the arrow landed, and they started digging in the ground. Lots of digging. No treasure. They thought, this nun doesn't lie. But instead of treasure, they got lots of trouble, because actually the arrow landed right in the field of the neighboring farmer, who was a very rich farmer actually, who had big fields. But it was also not a very kind farmer. And when he saw that they had destroyed his field with the digging, he said, "What have you done? I will bring you to prison for this, for digging in my field." And they said, oh, no, sorry. And they told the story about the nun and how they were promised so much treasure. And they said, sorry, maybe we can try again, and we split 50-50 the treasure, because the rich man realized, nuns don't lie. So maybe the farmer just didn't shoot the arrow properly. Next day, they decided, all come together, stand at the doormat of the farmer's house. And the rich man says, "I think you're a bit old, farmer. I will shoot the arrow today." So the rich man aimed the arrow at the rising sun. Same as yesterday, but now the rich man, he was a bit stronger. And he shot the arrow. And it flew further than before. And they saw it fly. And they ran after the arrow. And it landed. Douche. And again, they took out their shovels. This time they're gonna get it, right? Dig. Diggity, dig. So much digging, but of course, no treasure. But even more trouble, because the arrow had landed in the garden of the general of the army. And the general found out that they had been digging right in his beautiful lawn. And he came up there and said, "What are you doing? I'll take you to prison for this. You can't just dig in my garden without my permission." Oh, sorry, said the farmer and his wife and the rich man. And they told him the story about the nun. And the general thought, well, nuns don't lie, but these people don't know how to shoot an arrow. I am trained in the army, so I will show them. And they said, okay, well, we split 1/3 of the treasure then, okay? Tomorrow morning. Right. So they met again the next morning. This time, the general took the bow and arrow. And just as the sun rose above the horizon, he aimed, pulled the arrow back, and shot. And why? He was so much stronger. So the arrow flew so far, and they saw it, and they ran after the arrow, ran, so they didn't lose sight of it, ran, and in the floor, in the ground. And of course, again they started digging, And you know what happened? No treasure! More trouble. Because this time it landed in the garden of the king. And the king came out and saw the big hole in his beautiful rose garden. And he said, oh, you can't dig in there. This was not the kind king of the angry demon. This was not a kind king. So he said, I'm going to put you to death for this, digging in my garden. And they said, oh, sorry, The general said, well, this rich man told me about this nun, so it's really his fault. And the rich man says, well, it was this farmer who told me about this. And the farmer said, well, it was the nun, so it's really her fault. And then the king heard, oh, a nun? Well, nuns don't lie. So let's find out what happened. And he sent out patrols throughout the country to find that nun and ask her what was going on. Why did she give these instructions? So next day they found a nun and they all came together to the farmer's house. And the king said, well, this time I'll take the bow and arrow. And when the sun rose above the horizon, the king took the bow and arrow and pulled it back and was about to shoot the arrow. And then the nun said, hold on, I didn't say shoot the arrow. I said, let the arrow fly. I never said pulling back the bow. So then the king let go of the arrow and it fell right there on the doormat. And they took away the doormat and started digging, and very soon they found this big treasure. And the king was so impressed with this teaching of the nun that he quadrupled the treasure and gave one part to his wife, one part to the farmer, one part to the rich man, and one part to the general. Yeah, the nun doesn't need money. And what is the moral of this story? We're always chasing happiness in the future. It's out there, somewhere waiting to be discovered. If we just go after it, if we run after it, then we can get it. But I hope that in this retreat you found that you can also find happiness here, in the present moment, without chasing after it, without shooting your arrow always to some distant goal that you might probably never achieve. Yeah? The future is unpredictable. Life is unpredictable. Remember that one? So you think you get what you plan out, but you can find all the happiness you need right here, right now. Happiness is here and now. I have lost all worries. Nowhere to go, nothing to do. No longer in a hurry. That was the theme of this retreat. And I hope you see some of the wisdom in that, and that you can incorporate that into your life as well. Now, I wanted to read out a quote of that movie that somebody asked for, but because I was suddenly asked to come for the photo, I left it in my room. So that will be maybe for a future retreat. But I do want to do a brief guided meditation together to settle into this moment and maybe spread some kindness and gratitude towards our beings. This won't be very long, only like maybe 3 hours or so. No. Maybe 15 minutes or something. just to arrive in the present. Listen to the sound of this bell. I'd like to invite you to just bring your attention to the way you feel now in your body and mind. Maybe the retreat has gradually built up and you feel peaceful. But more likely, you might already have picked up the bags of the past and the future from the gate. And that's okay, we need some past and future planning. Learning from the past, planning for the future. But can you put down those bags once more for this meditation? Maybe you feel a certain energy in the mind or body or both of moving on after this retreat. But the retreat's still not over. We can still be like the day fly, having 1,000 moments before we leave Jhana Grove. Whatever you'll be doing after this retreat, it'll work itself out one way or the other. So right now there's no need to worry about that. Instead, can you find some trust in the present moment? The trust that by letting go of the worries and anxieties and planning of the future, that we can find clarity. And that clarity will be more beneficial a lot of the time than all that planning. If you really want to enjoy the rest of the day, including after the retreat, then the best way to do it is to pay attention right here, right now. Brighten up the mind just a little bit. There's still nowhere to go. Nothing to do. maybe you're sitting in the exact same place as at the start of the retreat. You can imagine being at the start again. All 9 days still in front of you. So you can be in the present moment. No need for a specific meditation object. You can listen to the sounds, the feeling in your body, just whatever comes to you. Even the thoughts and emotions, they're part of the present moment as well, including thoughts of the future. You can step back from them and see them too as part of the present moment. Can you relax into the present moment in whatever way? Sabai, sabai. All good, all good. Relax. That same silence that I talked about at the very start of the retreat is still there. Yeah, there's a few coughs and sniffs, cars. There's also the silence that's always underneath. And the silence doesn't ask anything from us. Can you have some gratitude for the ability to sit in silence? Consider how fortunate you are that you have this opportunity to be here in this beautiful retreat center. Yeah, maybe you got a bit restless and maybe you would even want to leave now, want to go home, had enough, but can you still find also some gratitude for the days you've spent here? This center was all donated by generous people. Your room fare is only running costs and then even part of the running cost. All these buildings were built out of generosity. And devoted to that silence. I'm very thankful for that. And over the past days, the food that you've been eating as well has been donated by people, maybe even people who themselves don't meditate but who see the beauty in what you are doing and who want to support your practice. Maybe in your heart you feel some kindness and gratitude, even though you don't know the people personally. Put a little smile on your face. Might help. Say thank you for all that you've given me. And please know that you're worth all of this as well. Now bring your attention to all your fellow retreatants in this hall. Yeah, maybe sometimes you got a little bit annoyed. Maybe they did things you didn't like, but they're all on the same path as you. I've spoken to many of you, and all have suffering. It's all very similar, if not the same. So we all shared this place together, and everybody did their best to support each other's practice. So, can you be grateful for these fellow retreatants? And grateful for the retreat staff as well. Those who've been running things behind the scenes or in front of the scenes. It's the whole Jhana Grove people here. Thank you so much, each and every one of you, for making this time devoted to spiritual development, which is such a rare thing to find in the world. These are all very wise people. We're very fortunate to be with them. Each one of you is very, very wise. You just might not realize yet. Now, I'd like to invite you to have gratitude to that person who, for many people, is the most difficult to be thankful for, which is you yourself. How wonderful it is that you came to this retreat. Maybe you had certain aspirations that you didn't really live up to, but you were still here and you are still here. And you did practice. You did the best you could. Wow, it's really amazing to think of that. Can you be thankful to yourself just for the fact of being here? That's all. Don't be thankful for good meditations or whatever, no. Just thankful for being here. And for making it to this moment. Okay, be thankful to your mind as well, for whatever it has done over the 9 days. If you've had some peace, you can be thankful for that. If you didn't get any peace at all, you can still be thankful that you did the practice. And with that gratitude goes a certain amount of kindness as well. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you so much for spending this retreat with all of us. Okay, why don't we do it once more? Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. It's really the retreatants who will make the retreat. So we don't need to do special thank yous for the teacher. And we already did thank yous for the retreat managers, but maybe we should do actually special thanks to Catherine. See in the back? Yes, she is. Catherine. Okay.
Can I just add that my role, both of us were doing this for the first time, and I learnt a lot on Norlia, who was in the kitchen, looking after everything in the kitchen, as well as hearing my, what do you think I should do now? And it was very important for me to have that support, so I really appreciate Norlia.
All right. Also the other people in the kitchen. Also all of you. All right. If you want to say thank you to me, then I will be, you don't need to, or just want to say goodbye, or want to say, oh, this was very shitty teaching, so here's some feedback on how to do better. Then I will be sitting outside in front of the kitchen for maybe 20 minutes or so. Thanks once again, and oh, wait. Joke? Yeah, no, I remembered actually. Thich Nhat Hanh's song doesn't end there. So the song I've been not really singing, but saying is, happiness is here and now. I have lost all worries. Nowhere to go, nothing to do, no longer in a hurry. But there's a next refrain. Happiness is here and now. I've lost all worries. Somewhere to go, something to do, but still not in a hurry. Oh. I want to pay respect to the angry.
Why not?
Demon as well.
Just like to say thank you for having us here, and we will have a wonderful retreat, and pay our respects, and also ask you for the forgiveness for any hurt or harm we may have caused you. Intentionally or unintentionally, please forgive us.
Yes, of course. And I hope you also forgive me for any bad teachings or stupid jokes or whatever. And thank you so much for your presence. I think people really appreciate you having you around, and that actually sometimes just being there is more important than what you say. So thank you all for being here. Yes, I agree. Okay, so I'll sit outside there later.
There's information on how to leave the board. If you can put your fold any brown mats and put the folded brown mats in the baskets and stack the chairs not against the walls, please, and the big mats going to the corners where you can see two people taking them now. So fold any brown mats into a basket where they came from. Everything else stacked neatly and the chairs stacked against the back. Yeah, right, but not touching the wall, please.
Yes,
we did.